Right then, make two bikes, two worlds. One choice that'll have your heart doing a little wheelie. A blacked-out 745 cubic centimeters Honda Shadow Phantom for laid-back swagger. Or a sharpened 689 cubic centimeters Yamaha Tracer 7 ready to chew miles with that cheeky CP2 grin plastered under its 5-inch TFT. Picture it. The Phantom rolls in with a low seat, spoked wheels, and all LED lighting. The kind of silhouette that makes a bloke whisper. That's the one before the keys even turned. Now jump scenes to the Tracer. Upright stance, tidy bodywork. A modern dash with smartphone connectivity and navigation baked in, and a chassis finally dialed to match that perky twin, making you absolutely buzzing to take the long way home. Let's rewind the tape and set the mood, mate. The Shadow Phantom's lineage is pure, keep it simple, keep it solid. Built around Honda's 745 cubic centimeters liquid-cooled V-twin that does its best work just off idle, pairing a 5-speed and a shaft drive for that set-and-forget cruiser life. Honda leans into the stealth vibe, blacked-out engine, solo seat, LED lighting, and easy-reach ergonomics, because not every rider wants a sci-fi cockpit when the brief is look mean, ride mellow. Slide over to the Yamaha paddock, and you'll find the CP2 parallel twin celebrated like a local hero at a village fete. Punchy, playful, dependable. And in the 2025 Tracer 7, it's backed by ride-by-wire, better electronics, and a chassis that finally acts like it lifts, not leans, on that engine's reputation. Yamaha's added a 5-inch color TFT with phone pairing and navigation prompts, plus ergonomic switchgear and a USB-C within thumb's reach, which is exactly the kind of daily polish that turns a good bike into your favorite mate. What do riders say then? On the Tracer 7, the verdict this year is it's grown up, with that mid-range urgency feeling more immediate through the new throttle and practical touring touches like the 18-liter tank and a real-world range around 180 miles on test. The numbers land where you want for solo sport touring, about 72.3 brake horsepower and 50 lb-ft, while the wet weight sits a manageable 203 kilograms, so you're not wrestling a beast when the city lights turn to switchbacks. And for the Phantom, the praise is quiet confidence, easy balance, low center of gravity, ABS peace of mind, and an authentic cruiser heartbeat that doesn't shout for attention because the stance already did. Among the Café to Coast crowd, the Tracer 7 is the do-it-all middleweight, commute, lanes, weekends, largely because the cockpit feels modern and helpful without being a faff, and the chassis poise finally matches the engine's rep. Among cruiser loyalists, the Phantom is the easygoing companion you wrench less and ride more, with that shaft drive and simple 5-speed reminding you that fewer moving parts can mean more miles between headaches. Right, let's talk feels, the highs and lows that make bikes more than spec sheets. Plenty of riders were gutted that the earlier Tracer generations felt a bit like commuters playing dress-up. But this one's different, with ride-by-wire, sorted handling, and tech that finally matches the brochure shots. That means when you crack it open mid-corner, the bike feels up for it. Less air, maybe, and more say no more, which is exactly the confidence an all-rounder needs. On the Honda side, some mates still wish for a 6-gear or more modern instrumentation, but then you climb on, settle into that low seat, and the world slows down in exactly the way most of us secretly need on a Friday evening. The Phantom's LED lighting and ABS make the night rides calmer and the wet rides less dicey, and you start to appreciate that the drama is in the silhouette, not in your wrists. If you're choosing with the head, the Tracer's 5-inch TFT with phone connectivity and navigation is a proper daily upgrade, maps, calls, and info at a glance. So you feel like the bike's giving back before you've even found third gear. If you're choosing with the heart, the Phantom's blacked-out hardware and solo seat tell a story every time you walk away from it and turn back for that last look. Think of the Phantom like a well-worn leather jacket, not the flashiest, but every stitch has a purpose, and it'll age better than trends. Think of the Tracer 7 like your favorite trainers that somehow work for gym day and date night. Grippy when you push, comfy when you cruise, and smart enough to feel a class up from basic. Out on the road, the differences get loud in the best way. Roll on with the Phantom and you surf that low-end torque, short shifting into a smooth, unhurried rhythm that makes A-roads feel like vinyl records, warm, analog, and charmingly imperfect. On the Tracer 7, that CP2 wakes up with a deeper growl. The mid-range pulls tidier thanks to the electronics, and suddenly that mundane bypass becomes a game of how many apexes can I string without a single brake stab? Touring plan, mate? Tracer 7 gives you 18 liters to play with and a verified 180-mile stretch between fuel light anxieties, which is exactly the kind of headroom that turns a 2-hour ride into a whole day. Just one more stop adventure. Add the tidy cockpit, the wet weight that won't punish U-turns, and the seat height choices between standard and GT. And it feels like Yamaha finally tuned the bike for real humans on real roads. Cruising plan? Phantom answers with a low perch, a planted feel at parking lot speeds, and that Honda calm that whispers, go on then, let's just ride. Because sometimes predictability is not boring, sometimes it's bliss. The safety net of ABS and the clarity of full LED lighting mean your late-night glide feels modern, even if the vibe stays deliciously old school. If we're brutally honest, the Tracer 7's tech edge will win over anyone who wants their bike to act like a helpful mate. Less guesswork, more go time, especially with that phone integration and clean TFT. If we're romantically honest, the Phantom is the one you park outside a café and let the lines do the talking while you sip, nod, and pretend you didn't notice 3 blokes taking pictures. Specs aren't the whole story, but they can nudge the verdict. Tracer 7's roughly 72 brake horsepower and 50 lb-ft make it a classic. Enough is plenty machine for solo sport touring and backroad nonsense. Phantom's 745 cubic centimeters twin and 5-speed with shaft drive make it the forget the spreadsheet choice for riders who want feel over figures and reliability over revs. And where the Yamaha's chassis has joined the party. As one tester put it, the Honda's whole party is its stance. Less corner carve, more horizon hunt. Here's the cheeky analogy. Tracer 7 is the Swiss Army knife you actually use every day, while the Shadow Phantom is the heirloom pocket knife your granddad sharpened, so, well, it still cuts cleaner than the new stuff. If you're that mate who lives for sunrise sprints to the hills, dancing the centerline and laughing in your helmet when the NAV says recalculating, the Tracer 7 is your ticket. If you're the bloke who values the steady thrum, the low seat, the roll-on ease when the road opens, and the kind of presence that turns strangers into mates at the fuel pump, the Phantom's calling your name. Emotions have receipts this year, too. Riders who felt shortchanged by older Tracer 7s are now properly chuffed. Better dash, better connection at the throttle, and a chassis that finally feels up for a bit of mischief. Old-school cruiser fans who feared the Shadow might go too modern can relax. The Phantom keeps the bones the same while updating the bits that matter for safety and night riding. So, where do I land after a week of imaginary miles and actual spec sheets? If I had to pick one bike to do it all without breaking a sweat, I'd take the Tracer 7, because the blend of mid-range pull, sorted handling, real-world range, and that tidy TFT means fewer compromises and more excuses to ride. If I were building a life around weekend glides, jacket weather evenings, and the slow smile that only a low-slung V-twin delivers, I'd buy the Phantom and never apologize. Your turn, mate. Are you Team Swiss Army or Team Heirloom Steel? And which roads near you would you baptize the winner on first? Tight B roads with a view or a long, lazy coast road at golden hour?